Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network for this week's recap of the Historical Baseball Project. My name is Dave Little, and we are recording from the Dave Cave with action from September 1st through the 15th, 1993, featuring the Cincinnati Reds and the Texas Rangers. This is the penultimate season recap, as this time next week we will be finished and the 1993 regular season will be in the can. Let us start off with switching over to the main screen, and we will start off with the National League standings at the beginning of the month of September. So when we last left our heroes, we had finished up the month of August at home, brought in the box scores and results from the out-of-town games, and here we are with the up-to-the-date standings in the National League at the close of the day on August 31st. And as you can see, the Philadelphia Phillies have widened their lead in the East. They are now up 6 games over Chicago and looking to coast into the playoffs. And in the West, Atlanta has put a little distance between themselves and the Giants. So it is looking like Braves versus Phillies in the National League Championship Series for 1993, just as it was in real life. Our beloved Redlegs stand at 63 and 72 as they are fading out of hopes of finishing at the 500 mark. And as to be expected, given the outcome of this 1993 season in real life. Andres Galarraga is the individual story. He is batting .399, threatening to make a run at 400. And he has got a 40-point lead in the batting race. So he will be your clear-cut National League batting champion. Whether he can hit the 400 mark remains to be seen over the next 4 weeks of gameplay, or the next 2 weeks of calendar time. Barry Bonds is still the MVP leader in the clubhouse with 46 home runs and 103 RBIs to go with a .353 batting average, good enough for third in the league. So Bonds is your MVP. And Phil Plantier from San Diego still leads the league with 48 home runs. How about that? He's got 112 runs batted in and a batting average of a less than stellar .226, which is about what you would expect from a Plantier-esque season. In fact, he has 48 home runs and only 47 singles to his credit in the 1993 season. Bill Swift is still the leading candidate for the Cy Young Award. He comes in with a record of 17 and 6 and an ERA of 2.55, good enough for third in the league overall. Second in that race is Tom Glavine, who now stands at 18 and 7, with really a pretty good ERA of 3.65, but still almost or over a full point higher than what we've seen from Bill Swift. Swift is holding opponents to a batting average of .220. Glavine is at .225, opponent's batting average. Brian Harvey of Florida has taken over the saves lead with 34. Statistics for the Redlegs. Kevin Mitchell is back in action to finish off the season, and he is on top of the team with a batting average of .374. 23 home runs, 65 RBIs. He will not get enough plate appearances to qualify for the batting crown, but still is putting up stellar numbers for the Reds. Hal Morris also had a fine season, .314 by way of a batting average. Their team leads all qualifiers in the batting average. Chris Sabo continues to perform well. He's got the average up to .277, 22 home runs, and a team-leading 84 RBIs for Sabo. Among the pitching staff, Jose Rijo is still the star performer with a 3.34 ERA, 13-8 by way of a record. Tim Belcher also with a fine 3.12 ERA to go with a 9-7 record. So that is your statistical breakdown for the American League and for the Reds. Now let us flip over to the American League, 1993. Unlike the National League, we still excuse me. Unlike the National League, we still have two very tight pennant races in the American League, and in the American League East in particular. Baltimore is 2 games up in the loss column over Toronto, and those two teams are coming right down to the wire. As you recall, it was Toronto who won the AL East in the 93 season. And, of course, the New York Yankees still kind of hanging around on the periphery of the race, but they're going to need a lot of help if they are going to overtake the division leaders. Chicago and California are still relatively close in the West. White Sox with a 3-game lead over the Angels. Kansas City 6 games back. Texas comes in at 9.5 back and still hovering just below the 500 mark. Although in the regular season they won 86 and lost 76. They would have to go 20-8 to end the season by equaling that mark. Still, the top overall performer on an individual level in the American League is the one and only Ken Griffey Jr. 328 batting average is good enough for 5th in the league, and he continues to lead the league in home runs with 50 and RBI with 124. Your current batting average leader is Toronto's John Olerud at 368. Texas-owned Juan Gonzalez still trails in the home run race, but is knocking the cover off the ball, 47 home runs. And Travis Fryman putting up some nice numbers over in Detroit with a 315 batting average, 29 home runs, and second best in the league with 117 RBI. Kevin Appier is still the league leader in the Cy Young voting. He comes in with a record of 19 wins and 8 losses and an ERA of 2.54. Right behind him in the race is Jimmy Key, who also has 19 wins, but the ERA is 3.10. Roger Clemens with a fine 2.55 ERA, threatening for the ERA title, but Clemens only 8-9 in the wins and losses, not a threat to the Cy Young voting. Eric Plunk and Roberto Hernandez tied for the league saves lead with 31. Taking a look at our Texas Rangers outputs, David Hulse leads the team at a 302 batting average with Rafael Palmeiro right behind at 301. Juan Gonzalez still fading by way of a batting average down to the 300 mark. But 3 guys producing well offensively. In particular, Palmeiro with 101 RBI to lead the team. Followed closely by Dean Palmer with 96 RBIs to go with 32 home runs, and he's got the batting average up over 250 at this point. Gonzalez in at 300, 47 home runs, 93 RBI. The wins leader for the Rangers is still Roger Pavlik with a record of 11-7 and a respectable ERA of 4.04. Kevin Brown is also in at 11 wins, but 15 losses, and an ERA still north of 4.75. And Kenny Rogers still up over 5 by way of the ERA and a losing record in the one-loss column. So big disappointments from Kevin Brown and Kenny Rogers on this season. Nolan Ryan still humming along, 9-4 with a 2.62 ERA, looking strong. And Tom Hakey coming in with 29 saves and an ERA of 3.33. So that is where we are with the standings as we begin the month of September. And now let us take a look at some results. The Reds began the month of September hosting the AL East leading Philadelphia Phillies for a 3-game set. And this was nothing but one slugfest after another in this 3-game series. Cincinnati appeared to be coasting to victory in Game 1 until the Phillies put up 6 runs in the 7th inning to pull ahead and snatch the win. Darren Daulton stroked a bases-loaded double in the 7th inning to give Philadelphia the lead for good, after the Reds had jumped ahead 6-2 behind Tim Pugh, but the Reds bullpen reserves coughed up 7 hits and 7 runs in 2 2/3 innings to kick this one away. On September 4th, Kevin Mitchell came through with a 2-run double in the bottom of the 8th to give the Reds an 8-7 come-from-behind victory over Philadelphia, and this game was a wild one. Heading into the 7th, Cincinnati was up 3-0. But once again, Philly put up 6 runs in the 7th inning and jumped ahead 6-3. The Reds responded with 4 in the 8th to retake the lead. Barry Larkin started the 8th inning rally with a leadoff home run. Mitchell doubled in 2 to give the Reds the lead, and Bip Roberts followed with a pinch hit sacrifice fly to pad the lead and stave off a 9th inning rally by the Phillies, who once again proved that no lead is safe against this offense. And in the series finale on September 5th, Pete Incaviglia and Dave Hollins each homered twice as the Philadelphia offense pounded on Tom Browning and the Reds to the tune of an 8-2 victory. Incaviglia, known as Stinky, finished 4 for 5 on the night, driving in 2 runs and scoring 3, allowing Curt Schilling to go the distance for the win for Philadelphia. Next up for the Reds, they would finish the homestand with a 2-game set against the St. Louis Cardinals. And in Game 1 of the Cardinals series, it was the Reds pitchers who were delighted to see the Phillies come to town after getting roughed up by the Philadelphia offense. Jose Rijo responded with a complete game shutout, a 2-hitter against the Cardinals. Rijo held St. Louis hitless until a pinch hit single by Gerald Perry in the 6th inning. So 5 1/3 innings, I believe, of hitless baseball for Rijo. The hit by Gerald Perry broke the no-hitter. Kevin Mitchell and Chris Sabo homered to power the offense in that 5-0 victory. On September 8th, it was all about Tom Pagnozzi. Pagnozzi went 4 for 4 and drove in all 5 St. Louis runs as the Cardinals split the series. That should be a 5-2 victory for the Cardinals. Tom Pagnozzi 4 for 4, 2-run homer, 2-run double, all 5 RBIs for the Cardinals as they outpaced the Reds, who were unable to solve Omar Olivares and 4 Cardinal relievers in the defeat, capped off by a save from Lee Guterman. So the Reds go 2-3 on the week and finish the week at 65-75. 3 games behind their regular season record at the 120-game mark. Let's take you now to Texas and see how the Rangers did on the week of the 1st through the 15th of September. It was the New York Yankees coming to town to start things off on September 6th, and the Rangers, behind Roger Pavlik, began the series with a 5-2 victory. Pavlik gave up a 2-run double to Paul O'Neill in the 1st inning, but then settled down to hold New York at bay for 8 2/3 innings to earn the victory for Texas and pick up his 12th win of the season. Dean Palmer led the offense. He homered and doubled and scored twice. And Rafael Palmeiro gave the Rangers a boost with a 2-run homer in the 7th to pad the Rangers' lead. The Yankees threatened in the 9th and loaded the bases with 2 outs before Tom Hankey came into the game to strike out pinch hitter Randy Velarde to end it for Texas and pick up his 30th save. On September 7th, it was a 5-1 victory for the Rangers behind Kevin Brown, who put up a masterpiece. Brown went the distance, holding the Yankees to 4 hits in his dominant performance. New York was hitless until the fifth and managed only a home run by Paul O'Neill in the seventh inning off of Brown. Gary Redus powered the Rangers' offense with a third-inning sacrifice fly, followed by a three-run homer in the fifth off Jim Abbott to give Texas a comfortable lead. Juan Gonzalez homered in the eighth, his 48th of the season. On September 8th, it was a duel between Jimmy Key and Kenny Rogers as they locked horns in a classic. This one was scoreless until the sixth, when substitute third baseman Hensley Mullins homered for New York. In the seventh, Mike Stanley homered to put New York ahead 2-0, and that was all that Jimmy Key would need. Texas made it exciting in the ninth when Redus led off with a triple and scored on a base hit by Mario Diaz. Yankees manager Scott Nichols came to the mound for a visit but opted to leave Key in the game to face the dangerous Juan Gonzalez. Key induced Gonzalez to ground into a double play, and Key then struck out Dean Palmer to complete the game and earn his 20th win of the season. So a gutty performance by Jimmy Key, particularly in the ninth inning of that one, as the Yankees avoid the sweep. Next up for Texas was a visit from the Minnesota Twins. This series began on September the 10th with another masterful performance by Willie Banks. Willie Banks for the Twins has come into Arlington twice and shut down the Rangers this season. This time it was a complete game five-hitter for Banks to outpace Craig Lefferts and Texas. Lefferts deserved better, only gave up 3 runs in the seventh inning, sparked by a 2-run pinch hit double from Randy Bush. And the single run for the Rangers came on a solo home run by Jose Canseco. So Lefferts didn't pitch badly, but drops to 0-5 on the season. On September 11th, chalk this one up to the Rangers' bullpen, who yielded 5 runs over the last 3 innings to cough up a 4-2 lead and give this one away for Charlie Liebrandt. Minnesota tallied 3 runs in the seventh to take the lead with a 2-out rally. The Rangers just couldn't get the third out, especially after a costly error by second baseman Doug Strange. Dave Winfield, Brian Harper, and Shane Mack each had 3-hit nights for Minnesota in the Game 2 victory. And in Game 3 on September 12th, it was ninth-inning heroics for the Rangers to prevent the sweep. The Rangers trailed 3-1 in the bottom of the ninth when David Hulse belted a 2-run triple, and Billy Ripken squeezed home Hulse with the game-winning run. A walk-off sacrifice squeeze bunt by Billy Ripken won this one for the Rangers. Kevin Brown provided a strong start for Texas, but Minnesota's Kevin Tapani was on the top of his game until the ninth inning. Todd Burns picked up the relief win for Texas in the series finale as Minnesota comes to town and takes 2 out of 3. Finally, the Rangers finished with a 3-game set against the Cleveland Indians on September 13th through 15th. And the Rangers offense just jumped on Cleveland in Game 1. A very rude welcoming to Arlington for the Tribe, as Texas scored 7 runs in the first 3 innings against Tommy Kramer en route to a blowout win. Julio Franco hit a 2-run homer in the second. David Hulse hit a 2-run triple in the third to break this game open early. Texas starter Kenny Rogers was the beneficiary of the outburst and improved to 10-11 on the season with the win, although his ERA remains above 5 for the season. So disappointing season for Kenny Rogers. In Game 2, it was Pudge Rodriguez who came through to save this game for the Rangers. The Rangers catcher delivered a 2-run single with 2 outs in the 8th to give Texas the comeback win. Texas got the crowd into it early as Rafael Palmeiro and Juan Gonzalez went back-to-back to put the Rangers on top. but Cleveland came back for 4 runs in the fourth on 5 hits, capped by a 2-run double by Junior Ortiz to put the Tribe ahead 4-2. An unearned run in the sixth brought Texas to within 4-3 to set the stage for the winning rally in the eighth. Roger Pavlik pitched well except for the fourth inning rally, and he hung around for 8 innings to record his team-leading 13th win of the season. On the final day of the homestand, September 15th, it was Craig Lefferts who poured gasoline on the crowd in Arlington to the tune of 8 hits and 2 walks in 11 batters faced. Yes, you heard that correctly. Lefferts faced 11 batters, gave up 8 hits and 2 walks, and put Texas in a 5-0 hole from which they never recovered. Kenny Lofton went 5 for 6 on the night, and Dennis Cook picked up the win in his first start of the season for Cleveland. So that is how things went the first 2 weeks of September for the Reds and the Rangers. Currently, Cincinnati stands at 65-75, 3 games off of their 1993 pace. And the Rangers come in at 71-72, which is 6 games below their pace through 143 games in the 1993 regular season. Coming up this week, both teams finish out 1993. The Reds have a 10-game homestand, hosting the Giants for 3, the Dodgers for 4, and on the final weekend of the season, the Houston Astros come to town for a 3-game set. Texas with 6 games to close out the year at home, 3 against the Oakland A's and 3 against the Kansas City Royals. So that is your update for the 1993 Historical Baseball Project, featuring the Cincinnati Reds and the Texas Rangers. If you want to see more and hear more about the Historical Baseball Project, follow the link in the comments section below, and you can see the HBP website and the long history, over 80 seasons, coming up on 90 seasons of data accumulated by Larry Foster and this fine group of gentlemen who love to play Stratomatic together and relive baseball history. Thank you, everybody, for checking out this recap tonight. That's our stream, and I am out of here.